Welcome back to Houston Newsmakers, and welcome to Derrick Broze, a candidate for Houston mayor. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
The last time I saw you, you were running for mayor, and you're doing it again. Why?
Well, I think that there's a lot of work to do in the city of Houston. It's a wonderful, beautiful place to live, but in the current mayoral race, different from the one in 2019, the two leading candidates are 30-year career politicians, and frankly, I think Americans and Houstonians are looking for somebody who's not deeply tied to the corporate political apparatus, and I think I offer something different. So
what do you tell people when you meet them for the first time? What do you tell them about your, quote, qualifications, why they should say, hey, I think I'm going to vote for Derrick Broze?
Well, often myself or my team will say things like, he's an activist, not a politician, and people's eyes light up immediately. People like to know that I come more from an activist background, from a journalistic background, because again, I think people are sick of those who just have deep ties to special interests, to corporations, and many people feel like their voices have been forgotten. And in Houston, it's hard not to feel that way with the way the current city government's set up.
So when you talk about activists, does that turn people away a little bit? Because activists kind of denotes progressive as opposed to conservative. And obviously this race is non-partisan technically, but
I think for some people it might give them pause. Others feel like, hey, well, that tends to mean somebody from the community, somebody who has been on the streets, who's out there fighting for it, you know, and I can fight as a journalist, I can fight as a candidate, I can fight as an activist. I think what it really signals is somebody who's going to be there to champion for you, not just in slogans, but who has a record, maybe not a political record in office, but a record of 14 years being in the community and fighting for the people.
So when they think about how you might be able to run the fourth largest city in the United States, what do you tell them are your qualifications for doing that, other than, well, I'm an activist and I care about the city?
Well, again, I mean, the fact is that Houston is facing a deficit crisis. Houston's facing a lot of problems right now, and we got into those positions by people with experience. And that doesn't mean the experience is bad alone, but I think a good candidate is somebody who is willing to be honest and say, hey, I don't know everything. I don't have every experience in every department, but I can call on people who are experts and who have more experience in those areas to lean on when I don't have that particular expertise. You know, I'm coming in with the spirit of exposing corruption at City Hall, amplifying the voices of Houstonians. I can't speak for people, but I can help go to meetings and say, hey, tell me what you care about. I'm going to say that during my interview with Khambrel. I'm going to say that at the next forum.
So what I've known about you is you have an eternal optimistic attitude about a lot of different things. And when you look at the polling data that the Houston Hobby School of Public Affairs has put out of the 14 candidates, it doesn't really give you much of a shock. You looked at that and you say what? Because this is just...
We still have a path. I think we have a path. You know, that number 1% shows there, but if you also look at the total numbers, is 7% of likely voters who, you know, would or are thinking about considering me. And I'm grateful for that. I mean, that shows that we're working hard, and to the point as well, that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't put pressure on the political science department of U of H and Mark Jones, because I wasn't even listed in the polls before. So how can somebody like me poll if they don't even put us listed? The moment you put me on, I show up at 7%.
And you got some support from one of the political organizations here recently that kind of gives you a little bit more incentive as well.
We have just accepted an endorsement from the Harris County Libertarian Party. We're very grateful for that, as well as the Texas Mises Caucus, which is associated with the Texas Libertarian Party. We're getting support from Texas Latino Conservatives. We're working with groups like the RISE Coalition, which is focused on HPD issues and privacy and things like that. We're speaking at LGBT groups. We are really building a cross-partisan coalition of people. Now, I might not end up in the mayoral office, but I know that we are definitely shaping the conversation by doing what I said, listening to the people and then taking their concerns to the events.
Well, I get a kick out of you. When we met, when you ran before, I enjoyed our conversation, and I'm enjoying seeing you back in the fray again. People need to hear what you have to say, and I appreciate you coming in to talk about it today.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about this, Khambrel, and I just invite anybody out there who hasn't heard of me to check out my website, learn more, and make up their own mind.
What's your website?
DerrickBroze.com.
Got it. Thank you, Derrick.
Thank you.
Good luck to you on the campaign trail.
Appreciate that.
All righty.